Next on BGSU Brain Game, it is semi-final time. Pandora-Gilboa versus Olentangy Berlin. I think we better get ready for an epic cranial combat. Only one team can leave victorious. Who's it going to be? Only one way to find out. BGSU's Brain Game starts right now. And welcome to BGSU Brain Game semi-final round. Pandora-Gilboa versus Olentangy Berlin. Let's get to our starting lineups. For Pandora-Gilboa, led by Coach Recker. In slot number 1, we have Jacob, a sophomore. In slot number 2, a senior, is Chase. And in slot number 3, a freshman, it's Holiday. Now for Olentangy Berlin, led by Coach Bird. In slot number 1, we have Annabella, a senior. In slot number 2, a sophomore, Akil. And in slot number 3, a junior, it's Martin. All right, welcome to everybody, and this is BGSU Brain Game. We're going to start things off as we always do with the toss-up round. All questions in this round are 10 points apiece. No deduction for incorrect answers, so you can be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit looser on your buzzers. I know it's semi-final time, but just stay relaxed. You may confer before buzzing in, and you can steal a question in this round. Olentangy Berlin, Pandora-Gilboa, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready at home? I hope so, because here we go. Which series of legislative acts were passed by Parliament during the 1760s to provide for the housing of British troops? Pandora-Gilboa, Chase.
Quartering Act?
Quartering is correct. Multiple choice question. Which U.S. state would you be visiting if you were located at 58 degrees north latitude and 134 degrees west longitude? A, Alaska. That would be Olentangy Berlin. Martin.
A.
A is correct. It's Alaska. Multiple choice again. It wasn't really misspelled. What word inscribed in the Liberty Bell is spelled differently than we spell it today? Is it A, Liberty, B, Assembly, or C, Pennsylvania? That would be Olentangy Berlin. Martin.
Liberty.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa, chance to steal. That would be Jacob.
B.
B, Assembly. No, it's actually Pennsylvania. It's actually Pennsylvania. All right, burning wood is the oldest form of making use of biomass as a fuel. What 10-letter noun designates, quote, the process of burning a fuel? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Combustion.
Combustion is correct. The small intestine is composed of 3 segments. 2 of these are the jejunum and the ileum. What? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Duodenum.
Duodenum is correct. Ball peen, framing, and finishing are all types of which hand tool used? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Chase.
Sander?
Incorrect. That would be Olentangy Berlin. Chance to steal. That would be Akil.
Hammer.
It is a hammer, yes. Multiple choice question again. This American poet penned the line, "I celebrate myself and sing of myself," in the poem Song of Myself. Is it? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob.
Walt Whitman.
Walt Whitman is correct. Did not even need the multiple choice. Article 1, Section 7 of the United States Constitution contains the origination clause that designates what type of bill must originate in the House of Representatives. The correct answer begins with the letter R. That would be Olentangy Berlin. Akil.
Revenue.
Revenue is correct. Opened in November 1994, which 31-mile-long man-made structure connects England to France via that would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
The Channel.
A little bit more, please.
The Transatlantic Channel.
Incorrect. Olentangy Berlin, chance to steal. That'd be Martin.
The Channel?
The Channel, or the Channel Tunnel is what we needed there. This geological principle assumes that the oldest layer of that would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob.
Superposition.
Superposition is correct. That is all 10 questions in that round. Let's take a look at our score. Wow, Another close competition indeed. I tell you what, when you get near the end, it's all here. Okay, Pandora-Gilboa has 50 points. Olentangy Berlin has 40 points. Stick around. Risk and rewards coming up next. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. Olentangy Berlin, 40 points. Pandora-Gilboa, 50 points. All right, we are going to welcome a new player for Olentangy Berlin in slot number 2. Let's welcome Ishan, everybody. And Ishan is a sophomore. All right, this is the risk and reward round. This is how it's going to work. Both teams, you're going to get a chance and an opportunity at the same 10 questions. First 9, 10 points apiece, no deduction for an incorrect answer. 10th question is the risk and reward question. We will give you a topic. You can risk up to 30 of your points in 5-point increments based upon that topic. Correct answer, bonus points. Incorrect answer or a non-answer, negative points. However, if you don't like the topic, you can just pass. Olentangy Berlin is at 40, Pandora-Gilboa is at 50. Pandora-Gilboa, you'll be sticking around. Olentangy Berlin, you are off to isolation. All right, Pandora-Gilboa, are you ready for your risk and reward round? Yes. All right, here we go. In geometry, what is the name for any line that intersects 2 or more distinct lines in the same plane? That would be Holiday.
A transversal.
Transversal is correct. Of the following 4 continents, which is the largest in total land area? Is it South America, North America, Africa, or Australia? That would be a Holiday.
Africa.
Africa is correct. During which decade of the 20th century did President Jimmy Carter sign the treaty returning the control of the Panama Canal to Panama? That would be Holiday.
The 70s.
70s is correct. Clay and loam are 2 of the 3 basic soil types. Identify the third. That would be Jacob.
Sand.
Sand is correct. In the Bible, this relative of Esther gives advice on saving the Jewish people from, that would be Holiday.
Mordecai.
Mordecai is correct. True or false, cilium are tiny finger-like structures numbering in the millions and cover the inner wall of the small intestine. These structures measure from 0.5 to 1.6 millimeters in length. That would be Holiday.
False.
False is correct. Villi is what we needed there. Multiple choice. What American poem contains the line, "There is no joy in Mudville"? Is it A, Casey at the Bat? B, that would be Jacob.
Casey at the bat.
Correct, Casey at the Bat. If a number is divisible by 51, by which 2 prime numbers is it also divisible? That would be Jacob.
3 and 17.
Correct. This classic epic poem written by the Roman poet Virgil, named the Aeneid, was thought to have been inspired by which event in history? That would be Jacob.
The Trojan War.
Trojan War is correct. Risk and reward time. The topic is Ohio governors. 10 points. All right, 10 points on Ohio governors. First elected in 2010 and then again in 2014, which Republican leader became the 69th governor of the state of Ohio? That'd be Holiday.
Mike DeWine.
Incorrect. John Kasich is what we needed there. Pandora-Gilboa, that is the end of the risk and reward round for you. Off to isolation you go. All right, let's bring back in Olentangy Berlin. Welcome back from isolation. I hope it was everything you wanted it to be and more. Are you ready for your risk and reward round? All right, here we go. In geometry, what is the name for any line that intersects 2 or more distinct lines in the same plane? That would be Akil.
Transverse.
Excuse me?
Transverse.
Can we accept just transverse? We can, yes. Of the following 4 continents, which is the largest in total land area? South America, North America, Africa, or Australia? That would be Ishan.
Africa.
Africa is correct. During which decade of the 20th century did President Jimmy Carter sign the treaty returning the control of the Panama Canal to Panama? That would be Ishan.
The 1970s.
Correct. Clay and loam are 2 of the 3 basic soil types. Identify the third. That would be Ishan.
Sand.
Sand is correct. In the Bible, this relative of Esther gives advice on saving the Jewish people from destruction planned by Haman. Who is he? That would be Ishan.
Noah.
Incorrect. Mordecai is who we needed there. True or false? Psyllium are tiny finger-like structures numbering in the millions and cover the inner wall of the small intestine. These structures measure from 0.5 to 1.6 millimeters in length. That would be Ishan.
True.
False. It's villi is what we needed there. Multiple choice again. What American poem contains the line, "There is no joy in Mudville"? Is it A, Casey at the Bat, B, Buffalo Bill, or C, Leaves of Grass? That would be Ishan.
A.
A is correct. Casey at the Bat. If a number is divisible by 51, by which two prime numbers is it also divisible? That would be Ishan.
17 and 3.
Correct. The classic epic poem written by the Roman poet Virgil, named the Aeneid, was thought to have been inspired by which event in history? Trojan War is what we needed there. Trojan War. Risk and reward time. Your topic is Ohio governors. 30 points.
Yeah.
All right. No hesitation there. 30 points. Ohio governors. First elected in 2010, and then again, that would be Ishan.
John Kasich.
Kasich is correct. That is the end of the risk and reward round for you. Additional 30 points. Let's now clear our scores, and let's bring back in Pandora-Gilboa. All right, let's light up the scores. Olentangy Berlin stands at 130 points. Pandora-Gilboa stands at 130 points. A very, very close competition indeed. We are tied. I love it. Stay tuned. The category round's coming up next where questions are worth 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 points. Deductions are going to start. Hey, we're just getting started here. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. We are tied. Olentangy Berlin, Pandora-Gilboa, 130 points. Oh my goodness. Before we get started and get beyond this, we need to welcome some new players. For Pandora-Gilboa in slot number 1, a senior, we have Aiden. And for Olentangy Berlin in slot number 1, we have Ryan, a sophomore. Welcome to our new players and our returning players. All right, we got to break up this tie. We're going to do it in the category round. There are 6 categories to choose from. Questions worth 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 points, but deductions do start. So if you go for 20, you're risking 20 points. You may confer before buzzing in, and you can steal a question in this round. There is one double or nothing hiding in there. May or may not be a game changer. Since we are tied, we did do a coin toss at the beginning of the round, and Pandora-Gilboa gets to make the first selection.
Russia for 10.
Russia for 10 points. In what city would you find Lenin's tomb? That would be Olentangy Berlin. Ishan.
St. Petersburg.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa. Chance to steal. That would be Chase.
Moscow.
Correct. Pandora-Gilboa has control.
Russia for 15.
Russia for 15. He wrote War and Peace. That will be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Leo Tolstoy.
Correct. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Russia for 20.
Russia for 20. The Hermitage, the second largest art museum in the world, is located in what Russia? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
St. Petersburg.
Correct. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Just keep going.
Russia for 25. All right. Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote a 3-volume history of Stalin's prison camp system. What was its title? That would be Olentangy Berlin. Ishan.
The Gulags.
Can we accept that? We cannot. Pandora-Gilboa. Chance to steal. The Gulag Archipelago is what we needed there. Let's see. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
European rulers for 15.
European rulers for 15. I will read a European ruler's name and years ruled. You identify the kingdom in which he or she ruled. Henry V, 1413. That would be Olentangy Berlin. Ishan.
England.
England is correct. Olentangy Berlin takes control.
Let's do mathematical terms for 20.
Mathematical terms for 20 points. What do we call the inverse function of the logarithm? That would be Olentangy Berlin, Akil.
The exponential function.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa, chance to steal. We were looking specifically for the anti-logarithm there. Olentangy Berlin in control.
Let's do mathematical terms for 25.
Mathematical terms for 25 points. What unit of the metric system is used for measuring pressure? That would be Olentangy Berlin, Ryan.
Pascals.
Correct. Olentangy Berlin in control.
Mathematical terms for 30.
Mathematical terms for 30 points. What do we call a system of equations with no solution? That would be Olentangy Berlin, Ryan.
Infinite.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa, that would be Holiday.
A false equation.
Incorrect. We were looking specifically for inconsistent system. Olentangy Berlin is in control.
Let's do mathematical terms for 15.
Mathematical terms for 15 points. It is a 7-sided polygon. That would be Olentangy Berlin, Akil.
Heptagon.
Heptagon is correct. Olentangy Berlin in control, making a move.
Let's round out mathematical terms.
Mathematical terms for 10 points. It is the middle number of a set of data. That would be Pandora-Gilboa, Holiday.
The median.
Median is correct. Pandora-Gilboa takes back control.
European rulers for 20.
European rulers now for 20 points. Alfonso the 13th, 1886 to 1931. Olentangy Berlin, Ishan.
Spain.
Spain is correct. Olentangy Berlin takes control.
European rulers for 25.
European rulers now for 25. Queen Margareta, 1972, 2024. That would be Pandora-Gilboa, Holiday.
Denmark.
Denmark, correct. Pandora-Gilboa still in control.
European rulers for 10.
European rulers for 10 points. Constantine the Great, that would be Olentangy Berlin, Akil.
Rome.
Rome is correct. Olentangy Berlin takes control.
European rulers for 30.
European rulers for 30 points. Gustav Vasa I, 1523 to 1560. That would be Olentangy Berlin, Ishan.
Russia.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa, chance to steal. That would be Holiday.
Sweden.
Sweden is correct. Pandora-Gilboa takes control.
Let's do animals for 20.
Animals for 20 points. What color is a polar bear's skin? That would be Olentangy Berlin, Akil.
Yellow.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa, chance to steal. Holiday.
Black.
Black is correct. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Animals for 25.
Animals for 25. What dog breed has a black tongue? That would be Pandora-Gilboa, Holiday.
A poodle.
Incorrect. Olentangy Berlin, chance to steal. Time, a chow chow. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Animals for 15.
Animals for 15 points. They sip nectar from flowers in midair and fly with, that would be Pandora-Gilboa, Holiday.
A hummingbird.
Hummingbird is correct. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Animals for 30.
Animals for 30 points. What does one call a male swan? That would be Pandora-Gilboa, Holiday.
A cob.
Correct. End of round. Let's take a look at our score. Olentangy Berlin, 80. Pandora-Gilboa, 250 points. Stick around. It's not over yet. The brainstorm round is coming up next. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. We did have a scoring correction at the end of the round. We now stand at Olentangy Berlin at 120 points and Pandora-Gilboa at 250 points. Still very much anybody's game. We're going to welcome back some players for Pandora-Gilboa. In slot number 1, we have Jacob. And for slot number 1 for Olentangy Berlin, Annabella has returned. Welcome to our returning players. This is the brainstorm round. It is a timed round. All questions in this round are 20 points apiece. Negative 20 points for an incorrect answer. You may confer before buzzing in, but no stealing. I repeat, no stealing in this round. Olentangy Berlin, Pandora-Gilboa, are you ready? Yes. All right, here we go. How many couples make up a square in a square dance? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob?
4.
4 is correct. In Greek mythology, which son of Zeus and Hera was the counterpart to the Roman god Mars? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Aries.
Aries is correct. With which musical instrument would one associate a spit valve slide? That would be Pandora-Gilboa holiday.
Trombone.
Trombone is correct. This natural resource was once the main source of all energy in industrialized, that would be Olentangy Berlin, Akil.
Coal.
Coal is correct. This synthetic element with a symbol of ES and an atomic number of Pandora-Gilboa holiday.
Einsteinium.
Einsteinium is correct. What Canadian province has the abbreviation NS? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Chase.
Nova Scotia.
Correct. Who was the first U.S. president to visit communist China? That would be Olentangy Berlin. Ishan.
Dick Nixon.
You are correct. Nixon. It is the highest peak in both South America and that would be Olentangy Berlin. Ishan.
Aconcagua.
Correct. When gravity acts en masse, what is the resulting? That would be Olentangy Berlin. Akil.
Weight.
Correct. The right and left sides of the heart are divided by a thick wall. What is it called? Time. Septum is what we needed there. In what year did the United States invade Afghanistan? That would be Olentangy Berlin. Ishan.
2001.
2001 is correct. Which amendment to the Constitution protects the public from unreasonable searches? And that would be Pandora-Gilboa holiday.
The fourth.
Fourth Amendment is correct. Name the element in the actinide series whose symbol is Pa. That would be Olentangy Berlin. Akil.
Palladium.
Incorrect. Nope, can't steal. Protactinium is what we needed there. If a person were to alphabetize the state capitals of the United States, which capital would come first? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob.
Augusta.
Incorrect. Albany. Used chiefly as a refrigerant to create fog in a theatrical production. That would be Pandora-Gilboa holiday.
Dry ice.
Incorrect. We were going to mention dry ice. It's actually solidified carbon dioxide. Which South American nation that borders Argentina and Brazil has its capital at, that would be Olentangy Berlin. Ishan.
Paraguay.
Paraguay is correct. In the graphic novel End of Round, let's take a look at our score. Olentangy Berlin, 220 points. Our winner with 330 points is Pandora-Gilboa. Let's give both these teams a big round of applause. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, let's come out, meet in the middle, shake hands. We'll see you at the next BGSU Brain Game.